Egg and Ager. In Dr. Robotnik's lab, Dr. Robotnik was creating a new Metal Sonic. But just as Metal Sonic was to leave, Robotnik decided to make Metal Sonic even better. As he worked and worked, not only did he give it the ability to speak, he made it stronger and scarier. Go to Angel Island and destroy it, Eggman commanded. Just as Neo Metal turned to leave, Eggman realized that he would have to actually speak to him in order for Neo Metal Sonic to understand how to pronounce words. Meanwhile, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were playing Uno. This is taking so long, Sonic complained. My turn started 2 seconds ago, Tails replied. Knuckles just watched the two argue until he finally interrupted with, this is more of a thing I would do with Sonic, but you and Tails almost never argue. Tails said, he's right. Yeah, I guess I'm a little impatient, Sonic said. A little? More like a lot, Tails laughed. Suddenly, a big shriek filled the sky. Oh no, said Knuckles. Quickly, the trio ran to Angel Island. Tails joined hands with Sonic to fly him to the top, while Knuckles climbed up there. Finally, their destination awaited them. As they got there, Neo Metal Sonic was just about to reach for the Master Emerald when the three heroes interrupted him. All of them felt a great sense of pride, knowing that they've beaten in him before, but slowly they realized he still was not the same. Without facing them, he spoke and said, "Foolish heroes. Will you realize that not everything is fun and games?" Suddenly, he jumped up and smashed the ground. The heroes got away, but Sonic was the only one who was not affected by the shake. Knuckles saw that Neo Metal was directly looking, is supposed to say looking, at Sonic and used this as an opportunity to punch him, but Neo Metal Sonic just grabbed him and threw him over the edge. Tails quickly flew down to save him because the island flew in the air like an angel, hence the name Angel Island. Now it was just Neo Metal Sonic and Sonic. Well, guess what, Metal Sonic? Sonic quipped at Neo Metal Sonic, but Neo Metal Sonic then interrupted Sonic and said, Neo. It's Neo Metal Sonic. Best you know before your funeral. Well, okay, Nitro, whatever. You're like an iPhone. They change the name and shape every year, but you're still the same, Sonic replied. Then Sonic spin and attacked Neo Metal inches, but he only went back a few inches. As the robot double went to grab him, Sonic used his speed to jump over him, but Neo Metal Sonic made a U-turn and punched Sonic, causing him to cling to the edge of the island. But this, of course, was just a distraction. Knuckles and Tails pushed Neo Metal Sonic off the edge, but then he engaged his shoe rockets and grabbed the Master Emerald. Super Neo Metal Sonic. Great, just great, Sonic said sarcastically. Now, which way do you choose to die? Painfully or painfully? Super Neo Metal Sonic said with an evil laugh. Dr. Eggman programmed. Sonic was terrified. He slowly turned around carefully so no one would notice. He saw how Tails, Knuckles were scared and worried for Mobius, like he was, even if they didn't show it. So Sonic uh, took out a device from Tails, who was too scared to run to Rai. Then a flying drone came with the Chaos Emeralds. "Here you go," Sonic said. Then Tails and Knuckles yelled, "What are you doing?" As Sonic brought the emeralds to Super Neo Metal Sonic, he was incredibly surprised. "What?" "Well, at least one of you know defeat when you see it." But when Super Neo Metal Sonic used the Chaos Emeralds, he turned bright white. But it was so bright that the Sonic heroes had to cover their eyes. Suddenly, bright, loud uh, overload warnings popped over Neo Metal Sonic's eyes, and just 2 milliseconds after, the entire robot exploded. Now, all three of them were in the air. The three friends were falling in the air, and the ground impact would surely destroy them. Unfortunately, to make things worse, the heroes were all knocked unconscious. Tails felt the air uh, blow through the air. It felt nice, but his body woke up in a frightened, shocked, realizing he was not flying. He then saw Knuckles and Sonic still unconscious, so he furiously shook them to wake them up. And Knuckles grabbed Sonic's feet, and Sonic grabs Tails' hand, and he flew them to safety. But there was one thing left. "Hey, Sonic, if you gave the Chaos Emeralds, then how did he explode?" Knuckles asked. "Well, it's the same thing with hunger. If you have a big appetite, that's bad, but if you overeat, it's bad too," Sonic responded. "Now, let's finish this game of Uno," Tails said. Then Sonic groaned.